On. All right. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
All right, let's give everybody a couple of minutes to get in.
Yep.
Winston, what's up?
What's up, Winston?
All right, let me just get this opened up here. Mute that sound, and that way I've got the chat running on there in case something needs to be done on the chat. Okay. All right. I can make this a little bit bigger now, I think. All right, there we go. All right, let me get the invite link here for people. Copy. All right, and let me drop that invite link down in here into the panel. There we go. Danny, how you doing? Let's see how I can pin that. Can I pin that comment, I think? I can. Yep, I sure can. Okay, that works a lot easier to be able to do that like that. All right, so now that the link is pinned, so that'll make it easy for everybody here. All right.
Sweet. All right, let's wait for some people to hop in here. I've been streaming just a minute and a half, it says.
Yep. You may want to drop a link out on yours.
I already did. I did it in my community section.
Perfect.
Just about 10 minutes ago. So I don't know how many people actually look at the community post type deal.
Right. It's not like Facebook, huh?
No.
Don't tread on me. How you doing? We were just discussing you a few minutes ago.
Yes,
Miami
sir.
Beach Audits, what's up?
What's up, guys? We're just waiting for some people to hop in here. Figured we'd give it a minute or two, and then we're going to discuss the videos I put out today, and specifically the officers muting their microphones. Upstate Audits in the house. Snap Phase, what's up, buddy?
What's up? Yep. This is what we'll be dealing with today, right here.
Hey, Tobin. All right, so yeah, if you guys haven't seen the videos already, we're gonna take a peek at just a couple of them here, just a few seconds. Tommy Wood, good to see you, brother. Huckleberry Auditor, Keebler.
What's going on, Tommy? You know what? I need to grab a couple of batteries really quickly. Give me just 2 seconds here. I got to switch some batteries out really fast.
Thanks, Winston.
All right, let's see. Is that going to work now? Oh, no. Nope, those batteries didn't work. How could those batteries not work? All right, that's not going to work. Hang on just 1 second here. Oh, no, I lost it.
You lost it.
Uh-oh. Hang on. I'm having a technical difficulty here. All right, I'm back.
He's back.
Just
all right, we've got 18 watching. So we've been on for 4 minutes. So once you're ready and back on, eyes, we can start that up.
All right. Which one you want me to go? Part one from.
No, this is right here, right where you got it's good, man.
All right. Perfect.
I believe. We'll see here in a second. Yeah, you can see right there that the gentleman had muted his microphone right off the bat there, and I think that guy in particular, because this is the end. Yeah, this is the end of his body cam footage. But that guy in particular, he showed up to the scene. It says right there, within 13 seconds, he muted his microphone. The video recorded for a good 5 minutes before he turned his microphone on. I don't know if he just forgot that his mic wasn't on or if he just didn't care, but through both of these videos, day one and day two, these officers are muting their mics. The second day was even more egregious because we had the lady talking to Winston there, and she mutes her mic, and the other officer there, McMahon, he's got his mic on, so we can hear what's going on. And plus, obviously, Winston was recording, but I mean, there was absolutely no reason whatsoever for her to mute the mic when she did there. And that just goes to show it's just either pettiness or and maybe even subconscious, who knows? But they absolutely need to have that ability taken away from them. The way I'm thinking, you go in, you start your shift, you leave the police department to start your shift, your body cam goes on. When you're done with your shift, that's when your body cam goes off. And then if there's ever a discrepancy, somebody files a complaint, you need to look at the body cam footage, have like a civilian review board or review person that will review that footage. Because I mean, let's be honest, if you file a complaint, and even if they had run it all day and you file a complaint and it goes to IA, and IA just happens to be the dude's cousin or maybe his poker buddy or his fishing buddy, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the guy is together.
Right. I mean, cops, I don't want to say cops are antisocial, but they're very awkward socially. It's hard for police to find, friends and stuff outside of work in the community because of, obviously the way they treat people and the way people, feel about them. So they're socially awkward. There was actually a study done on the psychology of being an officer and that kind of stuff. And so they're awkward, so that they're hanging out with the same people they work with a lot of times. 9 times out of 10, a cop's best friend's going to be another cop. So and usually mainly most of their friends or some kind of public servant, a firefighter maybe, or an EMT, or maybe the mayor or whatever, who knows. But basically, these guys are in the positions in the department and nothing's going to get done. So we need not only to have the body cams able to, be seen and heard at all times. We need some kind of civilian oversight. I would say, pick, pick an activist in that local community. Pick someone that's definitely not for the police. That's where you're going to get your most, I don't want to say unbiased because they're obviously biased against the police, but this is a person that's not going to hide anything that they do. You know what I mean? And they're actually going to look for stuff that's been done. You know what I mean? And if they can't find it, then it's not there to be found. You know what I mean? Like if I was the guy here in my county, you know, if I couldn't find something in that body cam that smelled of tyranny, that smelled of corruption or fraud or grift or whatever, then it's not there to be found. You know, as when you give it to your buddy in IA, you know what I mean? Like it still might be found. You know, there's still a good possibility that somebody else looking at that footage is going to see something or notice something that his buddy would, you know, overlook, or even people in that same profession, because again, they're, you know, their training's similar, their standing is similar, you know, just like we saw in these videos today. Uh, None of the officers there really understood the trespass laws, and you know, McMahon was telling them, yeah, you can go at any time, but we're gonna track you down and give you this paperwork. You know what I mean? And then the lady was saying, oh well, you know, we can detain you and you got to, you know, ID to us in order to get this trespassing paperwork. And and Winston was like, yeah, good luck with that. And you know, Winston is what his name is here in the chat, guys. If you see him, say hey to him. He's not an auditor. He's just a guy. He's just a guy that went up to the local county building, not his county building, because in the state of Florida, there's no specified county that you have to go into, like the one you live in or whatever. So he went to the one that was closest to him, and he was denied service. And Winston was a fan of the First Amendment auditing community. He's watched the videos. He knows what his rights are. So he told him, he said, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable the way you've treated me. There he is right there, Winston Smith. Thanks, bud. Thanks, Winston, for taking that extra step and bringing out the phone. Because a lot of people get their rights violated. A lot of people stand up for the rights. But not always do they, you know, record it. And you know, part I think of the massive draw, to me at least, is seeing people take what they've learned from, you know, watching these videos and then using it to protect themselves, you know. And we've seen plenty of videos on my channel of subscribers that have done just that. Stop Injustice is another from Arizona out there, and she really she gives them a tongue lashing now, and she records it, you know, because again, you know, there is no evidence if you don't have evidence. You know, like I said, those body cams are theirs. They mute the mics.
They disappear.
They disappear. You know, there's an ongoing investigation, so you got to wait 2 years to get the body cam footage. I mean, there's just,
and then it gets lost in that time.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much that could go wrong and so much that can happen. But you know, when they say, you know, if you're hiding something, you know, if you don't have nothing to hide, you shouldn't be worried. And I think that needs to be applied to these people in these body cams. I mean, if you're not talking about nothing, I mean, let's be honest. These people are not, you know, 007. There's not national security secrets. There's not, you know, Homeland Security secrets when they're talking to a supervisor about an older gentleman that's getting a trespass charge. Okay. There's nothing top secret about it. There's no special tactics that they're using here. You know what I mean? And it just goes to show a mentality of people that try to hide stuff, you know? And again, these are people that shouldn't be hiding stuff. You know what I mean? It's different if it's at their house and they're a private citizen or what have you now. But when you're working for the public, everything that you do in that role is public. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter whether you know you're doing this or you're doing that. You're doing something for the public. And just like my boss has the ability to look at everything I do, and my boss has cameras in our spot. and they record me all day long working, you know.
Yeah, and other people in IT field, they take and they look at your entire internet traffic for the day of what you're doing on the computer all day long. Checking
Right.
your email, they read your emails that you read, that they see. That's in a normal office setting to make sure that you're not using their computer systems and their time for your own personal gain.
Right. Or not even game, just slacking off.
Yeah.
You
Or
know,
game time, Facebook, any of that kind of stuff.
right, right. And we caught a lady just the other day, me and James at Wildwood, using Facebook. And
55K a year.
yeah, 55K a year. And she was doing it when she wasn't supposed to be doing it, because as soon as the guy walked in the office, she shut that screen down like that.
Instantly.
You know what I mean? Instantly, she shut that screen down. I was amazed. I was like, damn, I can't shut a screen down that fast.
Right?
And I need, she had a shortcut or something. And I was like, damn, man, that was quick. So I knew she was doing that on our time, and on our dollar, sure, everybody gets a break, this and that. I had some comments that said, oh, do you answer emails or make phone calls or do this and that and stuff when I'm at work? And my answer to that is no. I myself specifically don't. I work in a restaurant and bar atmosphere. So from the time I walk in usually to the time I leave, we're pretty busy. There's no time in between a rum and coke and a vodka martini to check my email or to post on Facebook. You know what I mean? And if I was behind the bar, or even behind the line or whatever, and looking at that, my boss is going to have something to say to me about it.
How about making TikTok videos? They like making TikTok videos now at this point too.
Dude, there's all kinds of stuff they do. One of the ladies in one of my videos, the video was called a Trio of Karens, and it was with me and Alabama Transparency up in Gadsden at the jail there. And there were three ladies there. Well, a couple months after this video comes out, I get a privacy complaint on it from one of these ladies. And I noticed the time that the privacy complaint was made, the time and the date. And it was exactly during the time she should have been working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now you're watching YouTube videos on the time, and then you're making complaints on the YouTube videos on the public dime as well.
Searching it down. And it probably takes a good 15, 20 minutes to write one of those out, I bet.
Probably. So, I mean, these people are out of control. They've grown comfortable in these positions that we've given them because, again, no one's challenging them. No one's challenging anything to do with what they're doing. You know what I mean?
They've also fortified themselves in these positions that they're in behind officers that will turn off the audio on their body cams, and they'll mute their body cams when they're talking about and conspiring about what they should or shouldn't do or how they should or shouldn't do it, so that they can keep their qualified immunity and get rid of whoever it is to get them out and get them to go.
Right, absolutely.
And like today, I saw a picture today, and it was only a picture because I really didn't watch the news report, but it was a picture of the Capitol building, and it was from a street from the outside of the Capitol building, looking down at the entire Capitol building. And the Capitol building does not look like it looked like when I was 17 years old when I went to see it. It looks like a fortified military installation now, almost.
It's sort of like they're waiting for the zombie apocalypse and The Walking Dead.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Exactly what it looks like. It's. Let me see if I can find the picture of it to where we can just look at it, because it relates to all of this and what's going on. I probably won't be able to find it now, though. Let me see if I can. Yes, I found it. How about that?
Yeah, the whole thing about it is, as this goes on, as society continues this roll down the mountain, it's just like a snowball. It's going to grow.
I mean, look at this building. Is there any reason for our building to look like this?
No,
this is crazy, and probably half of these guys that are standing here are all military, and they probably don't have any body cams on to even remotely be able to mute.
Right. Well, they want to keep people away, and clearly there's crazy people out there. We can understand that and the issues with that, but
not like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's going to go to extremes as it continues on down the line. As nothing changes, it only gets worse. You know what I mean? That's the way it's going, and something in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by outside forces. I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yep.
And the way the country's going, the way the propaganda's going, I tell my wife all the time that if you want to see and understand the degradation, I guess you could say, of the American family unit, you only have to look at the degradation of the American family unit as portrayed on TV programming from the 50s until today. And you can see back in the 50s, My Three Sons, or, whatever family TV show they had on back then, and the people were respectful, and, it was nice, clean, wholesome. And then you get to 1988, and you've got Al Bundy, and you've got Homer Simpson, and you've got King of the Hill, and these are the types of family unit shows that people are watching now and finding to be acceptable, and think this is acceptable in society. And that's why the family unit looks like Al Bundy now instead of Leave It to Beaver.
Yep. I think the Munsters would have been all right. We could have handled the Munsters.
Yeah, but even the Munsters had, good clean jokes, and you know what I mean. Just the stuff that's going on the TV channel. I watched Married with Children, and I got a laugh out of it here and there and stuff like that. But it's really, people don't understand how much influence, the media devices have on us, all the way from, the radio back when War of the Worlds was played on the radio, and everybody freaked out about that.
And thought it was a real life event that was occurring.
Right. And basically they did that just for that reason, to see how much people would believe this voice coming out of this wooden box in their living room. You know what I mean? And they saw then that people, they took to it. This voice coming out of this box is the truth. And so from then on, propaganda was just mass produced and served up on a platter through the radio, and then through the TV and movies and such like that, and now through social media.
It's hard fed into people now.
Yeah. And then they start early. Even the cartoons. I was watching a Sid the Science Kid with my oldest years and years ago, and Sid was, pushing vaccines. Now, regardless of what people's, stances may or may not be on vaccinations, the fact of the matter is this is a TV show aimed at small children.
Correct.
They don't need to be worrying about vaccinations. You know what I mean? Like, that's a parent's decision. They need to worry about playing with snow and dogs and chess and whatever that kids find to do, playing ball or kickball or stickball or whatever. But these kind of topics they're pushing on our kids early, so it gets stuck in their brain, and creates what's known as core beliefs. Right. So you don't even have to put your kid in school nowadays to get a good dose of indoctrination. I mean, they play it on the TV. Most people, especially in my era and on from the 70s on, have pretty much grown up by a TV. A lot of
Super
parents were
Mario
working.
Brothers, all of that.
Right. Yeah, a lot of parents were working, sometimes two jobs, and there was a big shift from the 50s to the 80s. The 50s, one parent could work, mom stayed home, raised the kids. Come to the 80s, half the parents are split up. Whatever parent you're with is working 2 or 3 jobs. You come home from school, you make your own food. You sit down and watch TV or go play with your friends.
Yup.
So yeah, it's a different
Latchkey kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
Free range parenting.
That's what it was. Drink
Yep.
from the hose. Back by the time street lights are on.
Yep. Ride your bike halfway across the city of Chicago.
Yep. So I've seen on a lot of body cams that I get from the Tampa PD and a lot of the other jurisdictions I get that they're muted a lot all the time there too. And then they've got other sections to where it looks like that the camera itself isn't muted, but the audio is muted as it's released.
No, you can actually see them in some instances
Push it.
pressing the mute button. Their mute button, I guess you want to say the controls for the camera are actually down on their belt. And at one point, the blonde lady, McDonald, I don't know if I've included it in the release I did today, because there was a lot of body cam, a lot of time in it. I tried to shorten it down to get the best stuff in, but you could see her, the blonde lady, she touching on her partner's belt to mute the mic, and she mutes it and unmutes it and then mutes it again, and you can see her going through the process on her cam on his belt and hear, because when they mute it and unmute it, it makes that sound, it says
beep, beep,
muted
beep.
or unmuted, so that way they know. But yeah, they definitely did that themselves, and they did that regardless of what they were talking about. One time both of them did it. It was, I believe, when the lady came up and she was like, "Oh my God, they can record in the building? That's crazy." And then like right after that, they both muted their mics. And I know they were, just straight shit talking about Winston and about how, some of these people will do yada, 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 and whatever else. So, there's an obvious disdain for people that watch government.
Yep, there is. And there shouldn't be.
Right. But again, it's that if you don't use your right, you lose your right type of deal.
Yeah.
And we're talking about civil rights, which can be restricted and can be taken away or given, as we know, because women had to fight for the right to vote, and African Americans had to fight for their civil rights. They weren't automatically granted to them when they became citizens, which should be the first clue to most people. But so we have to expand these rights. We have to stand fast on what they are and expand them ever more. I mean, we are the freest country. We have the most civil rights, but that doesn't mean we've reached the apex of freedom. That doesn't mean we've reached that apex of society to where we're, as free as man can be in society. Because, I mean, men can never be free in a society because we owe obligations to our fellow men and women. So in a society, we can never truly be free. There's always going to be rules and regulations. The challenge is to get those down to as least amount as possible. You know, the smallest government governs the best. And that's what true freedom is. It's not so many damn laws that, I mean, you couldn't even read every single one of them if you started the day you could read all the way to the day you died.
Yep.
You know, that's not indicative of a free society. That's the total opposite of a free society. Matter of fact, when Congress was thought of, it wasn't a full-time job. They were, you know, only supposed to come together every so often because the stuff that they had to legislate on for the United States, the states themselves, was very limited and enumerated in the Constitution. There, you can read all the things which Congress is allowed to legislate over for the several states. However, there's also a part there in the Constitution that most people, if they even remember it, don't really understand it. And that's the exclusive legislative authority that Congress has over Washington, D.C., and any territories that the United States owns, like Guam or the Samoan Islands or Puerto Rico or anything of that nature. So, and in those cases, Congress, again, has exclusive legislative authority, which basically boils down to a dictatorship, but by Congress instead of just one man. And some of the stories of people that lived in these territories, like Alaska, before it became a state, it's heartbreaking the way that our Congress allowed these people to live because they weren't a state and they didn't have, you know, the state rights and the federal rights per se. So you know, there's a lot of stuff out there that we're missing in on. But I think we're drifting away from this microphone issue here. I'd like to get some people up on the panel and hear what they have to say about these officers muting their mics, because, you know, it's not just in this video that I've released. Eyes on the State has gotten videos back just as bad with the muting. I mean, I've gotten whole videos back, literally whole body cam videos that the video played great, but the mic was muted the whole time.
Yep.
And that, you know, they make you pay for that. You know, they'll make you pay for that just like they will every other request. It's ridiculous.
It's a joke to them.
It absolutely is. It's you know, they have these snide little marks, you know, in the face. They've got the you know, the giggling and the funny comments and stuff like that. But I think there's a change. There's definitely a change in the tide. I feel more and more people are coming out and you know, saying stuff. More and more people are picking up cameras and recording. Yep. I know definitely more and more people are contacting me and you know, trying to get information and trying to right some wrong that's happening to them or in their area. So I got a good feeling that you know, if we keep going about it and doing it the right way and getting more, you know, progress. I mean, I could see a turning point here. Yeah, police body cams should not have a mute button. You know, that's one of the things that we as a society need to talk about. It's no good to have these body cams if these guys can just mute the button. You know, if they can just mute what they're saying. It's, I believe, technically, it would be tampering with evidence or tampering with a public record.
That's what it's
right. You know, but again, these people think nothing about doing such things because no one ever challenges on them. You know, I mean, hell, half the police departments don't even have body cams yet to manipulate. you know, and the ones that do, they're out there manipulating them. So they're doing everything they can to escape accountability. And I think we need to do everything we can to enforce accountability. You know, um, I tell people, we're almost ready to get Activism News Network on some major advertising funds. And once we do that, we're hoping for a big influx of users because we want to use some of that money to hire private investigators to look into these guys. I mean, I've got a lot of information I'm sitting on that I'm too busy and I can't get to everything. And you know, there's just a lot of stuff that needs to be looked into. A lot of stuff I hear that I can't get into. You know, first of all, I'm not a private investigator. I'm not a forensic accountant. So I mean, once we're able to do this kind of stuff, I mean, it's gonna pop off. Um, you know, we're gonna start going after the city councils, the county councils. You know, we're gonna be straightforward with them. You know, it's gonna be just like this. If we hear of an officer in your jurisdiction that's somehow violating people's rights or has violated someone's rights, and that city or sheriff or whatever, and they don't act upon that, if they don't discipline them, if they don't fire them, if they don't charge them or something of that nature, depending on the infraction, then we're going to come there and we're going to go through every city and county council members' lives. We're going to, you know, hire private investigators. We're going to hire forensic accountants. We're going to look at all this stuff because if they're covering up for the police in their jurisdiction, it's probably because that they don't want to rock the boat. They've got something to hide. They don't want people looking too closely. And that's why they're trying to cover shit up. So if that happens, I mean, well, like I said, once we got that juice, dude, it'll be me and you and Chuck Bronson and you know, we've got plenty of boys and girls that are gonna, you know, be happy to jump in on this. And we're just gonna go out there to that community. We're gonna sit. We're gonna put cameras on every corner. We're gonna have people digging through the financial records. There's something there, and we're gonna find it. And eventually, they're gonna understand. Hey, if we don't want these people, these citizens, we the people, looking into our financials, looking into our records, double checking everything we've done for the last 3 years, then we're gonna have our guys act right. You
We're going
know,
to act correctly. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. That's what needs to be done. That is the next evolutionary step in the accountability movement. We've got to move from, you know, filming cops on the side of the road who may get lippy and may violate our rights. We got to move to that accountability part, and the accountability part's going to come in from the city and the county council members. Um, that's where it's going to come in at, and the only way we're gonna get them in line is by making them scared that if they don't fall in line, that whatever they're doing, they're going to be exposed. Because let's be honest, every single county or city council, there's going to be somebody on there that's doing something they shouldn't be doing.
Just one. Always will.
Yeah. Maybe it's the secretary. Who knows? But there's always going to be one up there. You know why? Because it's human nature. It's just it's a numbers game.
Yep.
So with that,
is doing that right now. They're hiding and locking the doors to their public meetings, and I'm having a heck of a time calling them out on that down here.
oh, dude, I've been hearing. I hear stories about it all the time up there in Dothan. George Trotter, that older gentleman, he has problems because they're holding meetings when most people are at work. They won't hold them, you know, like 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock at night, so the majority of the community could come. They're holding them at, you know, 11 o'clock in the morning when most people are working. And they do little tricks like that so they don't have to hear from people, and you know, they can govern in the shadows per se, you know. And George Trotter, he's been going to these county commission meetings for, you know, years now, he says, and he says the most people he's ever seen there is 5 people. And this is a county of hundreds of thousands of people, and you're only getting 5 people at the county commission meetings. You know what I mean? Like, these people are running your life. These people are making decisions that will affect you financially, your kids financially, well into the future. And people are not spending any time there. Again, life's busy. I got work. I've got kids. I got this. I got that. There's always excuses while we're not, putting that accountability first, because we don't see that accountability as a short-term gain. Like I would if I went to work. I see a short-term gain because I get paid today or this week or something like that. So bam, my reward's in my hand. Whereas if I, take a day off and maybe miss a day's pay to go to this council meeting, I might not understand the ramifications of me helping to shoot down that tax increase that's going to end up costing me, thousands and thousands of dollars years down the road. You know what I mean?
That will make you have to work 15 extra days that year just to pay for it.
Right. Exactly. Did anybody want to come up and get on the topic of the mic muting? Had any stories about it? Seen any videos about it, or wanted to offer like an opinion or a thought on even what I said as far as leaving them on all the time and then just having a citizen board or something review them if they're ever requested and need to be redacted. I think that would solve a lot of problems right there.
The link is out, so I'm just waiting to see if anybody jumps up on in.
Yeah, Marita just said that the office Winston was in was fortified as well, and that's true. And if you watched my video about the $55,000 a year job for Facebook, that office, that city hall is the same way. It's got like a little lobby, and then everything else is behind closed doors.
Yep.
You can't get back to them unless you have an appointment of some kind. Although I do believe I have found a way around that, and I'll be letting people know about it. I'm going to be trying it out soon. We'll see how it goes.
I think that document that I had from the press secretary is one that will do that also.
Well, that's just about the masks.
Well,
I'm talking about actually getting behind the secure areas where we're not supposed to go. I know
what you mean now.
Yeah, there's something in the law that I believe is going to allow us to get back into those secure areas and not film per se the areas, but certain items back there. We're going to be doing it through the records request, and we're going to be doing, photographing and visually inspecting stuff back there in the secure area. So
I know what you mean.
It should be pretty interesting, and I'm going to try it out. We're going to see how it works. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, Winston, that's what I was thinking. I think that's a logical, way to go about this issue. This again, it's a problem. It's not something that we're going to see in the future. This is something we're seeing now. Clarence, how you doing, buddy? So, if that's the case, and it is the case, come on, Snapface. I love being embarrassed. I got rosy cheeks, my friend.
And big shoulders.
What'd you say?
In the shoulders to take it.
Right.
Cameras for 8-hour pay. Everybody jump in, rush rogue.
Yeah, I was trying to see the chat there, but yeah, we wanted it to come on air. We wanted to talk about this mic muting issue. Um, again, it's something we've seen in a lot of other videos. Subscribers of my channel have seen it before in the body cam footage that I pulled. A lot of times they'll ask, "Did you mute that?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't mute that. I never mute anything unless it's personal information, like a name."
Yep.
Uh,
What's crazy though too is how, like, when I get body cam from Tampa PD, they black out all of the officers from like the shoulders up.
That's weird. I mean, I've seen stuff like that. I've seen. I got some video footage from Holmes County, Florida, a couple years ago, last year, the year before, and there were two officers there, and in one officer's thing, they blocked out the victims or whatever, and then the other video they gave me, they didn't block out the victims. It was like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah, what are you thinking? And you're charging me this much money for this too, on top of it?
Yep. Snap face, there is not a standard price for body cam. There's supposed to be a standard price for like a CD, but it varies from county to county. I've seen one county, I think, that charged $25 per CD. I've seen where it cost me, 30 cents for a CD at one place. So it just depends on pretty much whoever it is doing the record request on their side. Some of them are really cool people. Others are real assholes.
Here's a record request right now that has to do with exactly what we're talking about. Remember the security guard down at the county building that tried to kick me out during voting and stuff?
Yep.
Well, he took like a 30-second video or so on his cell phone, and then I requested the Bolo book down at the county building, right?
Yep.
Simple things should be nice and easy. Here's the invoice that the sheriff's department gave me. I don't know. Can you see that or not?
Looks like some odd $100 or something, is it? No?
Yeah, it is actually.
How much?
Okay, so we got clerical.
There you go.
Estimate corporate operations, $21 per hour. It's 6 hours for $126. And they want a $65 deposit before they'll even do anything out with it. And this is for a 30-second video and a non-existent Bolo book.
Yeah.
And I asked to inspect the Bolo book that they had at the main county building at the information desk where the sheriff sits, and they told me they didn't have one. But yet the sheriff's department sent me an invoice for the exact record it is that I'm looking for to charge me for it so I could have a copy of it when I asked to inspect it.
What about this? What about us going to the police station and inspecting the copy of the body cam footage instead of having them give it to us? I wonder if there would be redaction on that. Probably, huh?
Yes, there would have to still be redaction on that, but they would play it on a screen for us in there.
Well, they'd have to have something that we'd be able to watch it on. That's in the Attorney General book. So whatever medium. Hey Jay, whatever medium it's on, if we ask to visually inspect it and photograph it, copy it, whatever, we have to be seeing that record in the format that it's kept in. So if it's a video, they'd have to provide somewhere for us to watch that video.
Correct.
So, yeah. So, I mean, that would be interesting to see if there'd be any kind of price difference. I mean, obviously, besides the CD.
Well, that's what I had asked for in the first place for both of these things. I wanted to record it off of his phone, and I wanted a copy of it, and then I also wanted to inspect that Bolo book there. I didn't want a copy of the Bolo book, but I mean, I don't even know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. But you can't get into the records department from the sheriff's department anymore, like to go in and talk to somebody. They've got it gated off and locked off. You can't go in.
Yeah, they're out of control. I think it's going to be hard for them to get back in the swing of things being back to normal because they've had so much power to restrict people during this whole COVID thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Once they get a taste of that power, it's hard to get it back. So we're going to see how this goes. I got that trip planned for the Midwest coming up, and I was in the Midwest last year during COVID. So we're going to see the difference from the videos because, of course, I'm going to go back and do revisits. So we're definitely going to see how it goes and how they have changed and how they react now, and see if there's a difference.
They're probably the Hillsborough County tax collector is only at a 50% capacity for its workforce.
Yeah, because everybody's still working from home or whatever, and they're still directing the majority of citizens to, go online to do their stuff.
Yep.
To beat the lines or whatever have you. So they're definitely trying to, keep citizens away from coming to their public buildings, accessing the services that way. I mean, that would be ideal for them to, to not have to deal with citizens face to face,
Right? That's what they want. That's for sure.
Well, that's what most of them do now. They stick a receptionist down there. They close off all the offices and make them, secured access, and you're stuck down in a little lobby. This is not what I would call a free society or a freedom-oriented society. You know what I mean? How come I can go to a burger joint and they got a glass up, I can see everything they're doing, but yet I come to the mayor's office, the public servant, the very essence of being able to see how stuff's run, and it's bulletproof glass, and there's 3 feet steel walls, and you know what I mean? No one's threatening this guy. When was the last time a mayor was assassinated in the United States? Ever? You know what I mean? Like, let's get real, people.
It's that fear generation that they can run, though.
It's ridiculous. It really is. It's to the point of almost unbelievable ridiculousness now. It's to the point where it feels almost surreal, like Jay's surreal camera there. It's almost surreal. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
I'm almost feel like I'm dreaming that this couldn't possibly be what I was told as a child was freedom.
Is this the dream?
This must be the dream, because when I walk outside and I go to interact with these people, the reality is so much different from what the book told me that again it doesn't seem real. Like I'm moving through a dream, and that anytime I'll wake up and I'll be on the Nebuchadnezzar, like Neo was, and I have this fucking thing sticking out of the back of my neck, and I'm eating mush.
Right? Getting unplugged. Does chicken really taste like chicken?
Right.
What about tasty wheat?
Seriously, because I got to question everything now, because once you find out that the government has lied to you about everything, damn near, basically your whole life, it's like, what can you trust? How can I trust? There's a rapper, Chris Webby, and he did an excellent song called Raw Thoughts #4, and it's pretty recent, and he's talking about recent events, and it's pretty moving. It's a pretty powerful piece. But he talks about the algorithms in Google and how they're guiding your searches and right. There's a documentary put out about the guys at Google and Facebook and stuff, and how they were manipulating people with the algorithm, and just like when you're talking to your wife or something about, I don't know, spandex banana hammock, you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden you'll see ads on your Facebook feed for damn spandex banana hammocks, shit that are so far out there that, you know what I mean? Like, no one ever buys them. You know what I mean? It's like they're mythical almost.
They
But
are.
but as soon as you talk about it, bam, there it is on your freaking Facebook feed.
Yep.
I mean,
This has got a sponsored link for you. They got it for $3.99.
Right. It's crazy now.
It's only going to get worse. I mean, it really is.
Have you heard about the intelligence-led policing that's been going on in Pasco County and other counties?
Yes, I have.
So, I mean, we're talking about Minority Report type stuff there, where they're taking data about people and they're inputting it into a computer, and the computer's popping out the probability of you committing a crime again. And so they're sending officers out and harassing people because the computer says they're probably going to commit a crime sometime.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's so insane how much we're pushing this, safety and security issue, and how we need more police and how they need more weapons, and how there's just this war on the streets, and we need these guys to protect us, but in reality they never protect us. They're never there when you're getting robbed on the street corner. They're never there.
Nope.
Hardly ever. You know what I mean? And when you look at the amount of work that's being done by them successfully, when someone works a job, like, let's say you're a surgeon and you operate on people, and let's say 20% of the people that you worked on lived and 80% died. That would be a pretty horrible success rate, wouldn't you say?
Your insurance skyrocketed.
Right. But for officers, for police departments, sheriff's departments,
they get promoted.
20%, right? 20% is about their average, successful work rate. You know what I mean? As in cases closed, as in stolen property found and returned to its owner, as rapists caught, that sort of thing. So I mean, it boggles my mind, but in essence it doesn't, because I understand that a lot of people can't really think. You know what I mean? These bootlickers out there that are just back in the blue, and when you ask them about the 20% success rate, it just goes right over them, because what they believe, that these guys are there protecting them, that these guys are out there doing a good job. But when you look at the hard facts, when you look at the numbers, they're not doing a good job. They're not doing a good job at all. If you hired a landscape crew to cut your lawn every week, and every week you looked at your lawn and only 20% of it was cut, you'd be firing that guy. You know what I
Yep.
mean? The same thing with your taxes. You hire a tax attorney, he only does 20% of your taxes. You'd be firing that guy. So, I mean, we need to look at the money we expend and the return we get on that money, just like any investment. You know what I mean? Our tax money's being invested here. We're investing it in, supposed security, supposed, keeping the peace and taking bad guys off the street. But, when you really look at it, the system's not set up to do that. They hardly, close the cases. And when they do, and they put these people through for prosecution, you're seeing, sentences of 100 years handed out to a guy with, 53 marijuana plants who's never heard a fly. And this other guy beat some guy to death with a baseball bat, and he got 6 years.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because
and he's out in 4.
Right. Because, the scam there is that if they fill the prisons with enough nonviolent offenders like marijuana users and growers and people like that, then they don't have the room for the hardened criminals. And they have to keep kicking them back out on the street. And once they're back out on the street, guess what they're doing? They're raping and they're killing again. So even though crime has been going down for the last 30 years, we're still providing police with more and more money because the system keeps kicking these violent offenders back out to reoffend. And we see these offenses in the news, and the news is like, oh, we need more police out there. When actually we don't. We need the marijuana grower that doesn't hurt nobody to get a year in prison. Maybe, if that. I don't believe he should get anything. But if we had to, and then we need the rapist to get 50 years. We need the murderer to get 50 years. Not the guy that just was growing some pot. You know what I mean? And if that was to happen, well, then you wouldn't be seeing these incidents on the news. And, we might actually have to cut some police, because their job is to stop crime. So my question is when does it stop? I mean, does crime just keep growing and growing, and we just keep, adding cops until everybody in society is a cop?
Well, we keep writing new laws every day to create more criminals. So,
and that's exactly right. It's just a big system. It's a revolving door.
It is like a merry-go-round, isn't it?
It is, and that's why they got qualified immunity for the officers, because they realize that the officers ain't going to enforce half these laws that are on the books if there's no protection for them. When they make a mistake doing this stuff. And they need that. The elite people that are writing these laws, they need that protection that the law enforcement provides. So they're going to give them qualified immunity while they're out there doing their stuff. And then even if they get caught breaking the law, they're going to look the other way. They're going to give them a lesser sentence. I mean, that's the way it is, because that's their protection. And we can see it's their protection in these First Amendment audit videos, because nowhere, no citizen is getting the kind of response times and units to their location that these public employees do. I mean, it's just not happening, dude. Like Winston, the first video I had on there were 3 sheriff officers and 4 city cops there, dude. A ridiculous amount of manpower there at the government services building. You know what I mean? I mean, you got to be a pretty rich dude in a pretty rich neighborhood and have a pretty heinous crime to get that kind of response. I mean, you could live in the best neighborhood in the area and have a burglary, and you're still only getting 1 or 2 cars, maybe.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Maybe. And that's still going to take you 2 hours to get them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you go into a public building with a camera, you've got 4 units there in 5 minutes or less.
Instantly, almost.
Almost, if the police department is next door, it is instantly. You're right.
Yeah, they're crawling out of the woodwork. Like they come out of every corner too, like everywhere.
Yep.
It's those hardened buildings that we were talking about.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's that love affair that's going on there with the law enforcement and the public servant. And again, you know, when the public servant calls the police they don't do investigations. How many videos of mine have you seen where they did an investigation? Never.
Right?
They go to the public servant. The public servant tells them some shit. They come to me, tell me I'm trespassed, tell me I'm not wanted, tell me I'm making people uncomfortable, tell me all kinds of shit.
I know it.
But they never, they hardly ever try to investigate.
That's
So
why they get called the feelings police.
exactly. And it takes a good amount of knowledge on the law to even deter them from violating my rights, which
It
sometimes
does.
I don't even feel like doing it. I just let them violate my rights and take it up with them later.
Yep.
You know, I mean, this is a long game that I'm playing. A lot of people sometimes get upset if I don't get arrested or if I don't do things exactly the way they feel they should be done, or if I talk too much, or this or that. But to me, this has always been a long game. This hasn't been a jump in and make money or get famous or anything of that nature. It's always been a long game to me, and it's always going to be a long game to me. It's the rest of my life game to me. It's the rest of my kids' life game to me. It's the rest of my grandchildren's life game to me. Because tyranny doesn't stop on its own. It has to be stopped. It has to be held in check. Okay, because that's just the way people are. It's just the way people are. Maybe not me, maybe not you, maybe not all our subscribers, maybe not half of the country, but some.
Yep.
So, and usually it's those kind of people that gravitate towards those kind of positions, just like pedophiles gravitate towards being preschool teachers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just, it's, there's a lot of stuff that needs addressed. There's a lot of stuff we need done, but we need to take that next step from just recording and putting it on YouTube to actual accountability. And we're not going to be able to do that until we grow the new channel to where it could be, an independent CNN or an independent ABC or something. Those guys got the juice to really put tyranny in check. But of course, obviously, they're controlled by the same people. So Correct. They look the other way. They're not interested in making corrections. But, if all of a sudden, for some reason, I woke up yesterday and I'm, or woke up today and I'm the president of Fox News with all those resources at my disposal, they got a team of lawyers, they've got planes they could fly around the country or send their reporters on planes all around the country to get news stories or to, sniff stuff out. I mean, those guys have the power, but, Rogue Nation, Eyes on the State, I mean, even some of the bigger guys like Amagansett Press and James Freeman, we don't have that kind of juice. We don't have that kind of pull. I can't afford to hire a private investigator to follow around a couple county commissioners because I've gotten reports that they're, accepting drug money from drug dealers. You know what I mean? I don't have that kind of money. I don't have the kind of time to follow around these county commissioners and put the story together. You know what I mean? So until we have that kind of stuff, I mean, we're kind of like a fish out of sea. We're doing as much as we can, but we're losing oxygen because, the only way to stop that is to get that kind of information, to get that kind of dirt, to really do that kind of deep dive investigation that needs to be done. Obviously I know, and and everybody knows that very rarely are we going to catch corruption on our camera as we go through these buildings. You know what I mean? They're pretty good at hiding their stuff. You know, even though we might catch them off guard, you know, it's really hard to catch them in the act per se. But you know what we're doing and what I've been doing and what's has been happening is that when people see me and they know that, you know, what we're about exposing, then they'll see that and they'll give us a call and we'll, you know, get some information that way. But again, you know, some of that information we just can't act on. You know, I can't fly out to Mobile every week, or you know, I can't hire an investigator in Mobile to follow around. You know, there's a couple of cops that I know of that are, you know, rumored to be messing in the drug game, but you know, they're far away. I can't get out there. You know what I mean? So, you know, the information is good, and you know, it's just we don't have the resources to do a lot about it right now. So I'm hoping that'll change this summer. I got a lot of stuff planned for myself, for the channel. I'm doing a whole redo of the platform. Everybody that's an activist on the platform is getting their own like channel on the platform. So that way, when you look at the platform, it'll be just like it would be. Say it'll have, you know, Rogue Nation and Eyes on the State and Chuck Bronson and, you know, Disorderly Product News, and under that heading will be each of our own videos specifically. I'm going to be doing a lot more exclusive stuff for the channel. I'm moving all my lawsuit stuff to the channel because, to me, my lawsuit stuff and those kind of things, that's about change, you know. So people that are interested in about change are going to be interested in helping to support Activism News Network, and the people that are just about, you know, seeing confrontation and, you know, maybe seeing me get tased or arrested or whatever have you, not whatever the reason they watch my videos for, you know, they can still watch my videos on YouTube, but the lawsuit stuff, the lawsuit information, huh?
We're gonna put those ones on SummerSlam.
I didn't hear you.
I said we're gonna put those ones on like SummerSlam, a $49.99 pay-per-view special.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. But
I know, I'm just kidding. That's all.
but yeah, I mean, you know, so the people that are interested in change will be able to see change, and the people that are interested in just, you know, watching for whatever, you know, happens to be their reason to watch, you know, they could still watch. But you know, this is something I've always been about, is the change, and you know, we've made change. I'm not going to say that we haven't, but to me, we have. But to me, it needs more. I need more. There needs to be more. Okay, it's a lot more, a huge amount more. I mean, auditing has been going on for 5, 6, 7 years now, and people still look stupid in the face when I tell them I can record in public and they don't have any privacy. They still look stupid in the face. It's hard to fathom. Yeah, Bill of Right News, absolutely. They should be charged with tampering with evidence, and again, at the very least, they should be charged with the destruction or tampering of a public record. You know, again, it just amazes me, and again, there needs to be something done. You know, we need that juice. Once I get that juice loose, I mean, they're not going to want to test us. It's going to be a real simple process once we start getting on the city and the county council members and we start digging through their stuff. They're not going to want us in their town. They're not going to want us in their county. They're going to do whatever they can to make sure it doesn't happen. Right. Trust me. They're going to do whatever they can to make it not happen. I mean, because I'm the kind of guy, I just don't give a damn. I got to go there for a week. Cool. I got to go there for a month. I'll bring the kids. Let's go. You know what I mean? If I got to sit out in front of the city council chambers all month long, all day, every day. I'll bring the kids. I'll bring the wife. We'll get an Airbnb. You know, they can drive around and visit the area while Dad's working.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of guy I am. I just don't care. I'm tired. Tired of hearing all the stories about corruption. I'm tired of hearing all the stories of abuse. I'm tired of seeing all the videos of people being abused and mistreated by the people that they pay. I'm just tired of it. And with that being said, my man, we're at 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yep. I think we're going to cut it down.
Yep. Unless somebody's got some questions or wants to hop up on the panel and say something, it's about time to cut it down.
I give 10 seconds for that.
10 seconds, you cheap bastard.
Aha! Could always give the Jeopardy tune.
Oh, yeah. Did you see mine and James' Chips video the other day?
Yes, I did. I laughed.
Oh, my God, dude. That was so awesome.
Yup. I got to get me one of them scooters pretty soon.
Yeah, mine was decent. It wasn't too bad. And I love it, man. It goes. It gets up and it goes. And,
I know it.
You know, it's great for not parking close by.
Exactly.
So, again, not that I'm worried. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you park close by, they can get your license plate. And again, I'm the kind of guy that's like, fuck it. I want them to know who's, you know, going to be watching them. I want them to know, hey, that's Rogue Nation. Here's his record. Here's what he's going to do. Here's what he has done. Be ready, you know?
Yep.
I don't mind. I'm not a criminal, so I don't mind being identified. You know, again, I feel that they need to ID me so they realize how serious I am and what kind of situation that they have enveloped themselves into. You know what I mean?
I like throwing out business cards at them now.
Right.
I almost throw them out like I'm in the club and making it rain on them now at this point. I'm like, you want to know? Here you go. This is here.
Right, exactly. I want them to see my truck roll into town and be like, oh, shit, let's call the chief.
Right.
You know, let's tell them people are going to be filming in town today. You know what I mean? Like, act right. Be straight.
I'm next the 16th of this month, I think, is going to be an eye opener for the Hillsborough County government. Hopefully, we'll see. Their county commission meeting at 9 a.m. like you were talking about that other meeting.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. There's a lot of stuff coming up. There's the gentleman's trial for the tow truck company in Mobile on June 8th. Also, for anybody in Florida on June 8th, there's a unmask our child or unmask our children kind of rally in Polk County on June 8th. So if anybody's in Florida wants to go to that, I will be going to that.
Let me know.
Yeah, subscriber emailed me and asked me to come, so I'm going down there.
Yep,
Again,
let me know. I'll go.
Yeah. So I'm going down there to cover that and see what that's about. And if anybody wants to go, they can just email me or text me if you have my number, and I'll get the information to you. But it will be June 8th in Polk County.
Well, speaking of that same thing, you know how I got trespassed out of the school board meeting last month, right, down here in Hillsborough County for the same thing? They just announced in Hillsborough County that they are going to make it optional for the students and the parents to decide, and it's not the district's decision anymore. So it's a non-mandatory now here. So we'll have to see. That's going to be interesting what happens in Polk County now.
Yeah, we're gonna see. But also coming up, I won't give the date, but we will be back down in Punta Gorda. They did pass the ordinance about no obscene words on signs or shirts or anything like that. So we will be getting a crew together to go down there. So if you're in Florida, or even if you're not in Florida and you want to come down, still a couple weeks away at the earliest. So give me a shout. We'll put that together. Punta Gorda. Yeah, you're on my list, buddy.
Oh boy.
Yep. So I've already got something special planned in my sign and shirt for them.
I have a couple of special shirts already that I could have for down there, huh?
Yep.
Yep. I sure do. All right, that works.
So hold on,
everybody. We're going to jump off of here now.
Hold on. Snap Phase asked if I still use my 360 cam, and I wanted to let them know that my 360 cam is on my rig, which was stolen in Paulding County, Georgia, by the sheriff there for evidence in my last arrest. So they got my Sony main cam, and they got my 360 cam on my rig that I never got back, and I still have to wait. Again, it could be 6 months to 2 years, they said, before the court's done. So could be a while before we see that back. I did order a new camera, another 4K camera. I got my awesome phone, but it doesn't do enough. So I bought this camera. It's only a couple $100 on Amazon. So that way, if they steal this one, I'm not as upset. That Sony that they took was like $1,300. The one that Georgia's got now. So I'm pretty pissed about it. So I can't spend $1,300 on a new one.
Right?
Only to have that taken. You know what I mean? I'll spend a couple $100 if they take it. Well, then that's that.
Only you be thugs stolen.
Yeah. I just can't have them steal my regular work phone. You know what I mean? So I gotta keep that out of harm's way. So I got another phone and now another camera. So if they want to steal those, they could steal those, and I'll still be able to conduct business on my regular phone. The speedy trial thing, ex-bootlicker, is subjective. Basically, if you're not contesting, like I haven't contested not having a speedy trial. So if you're not contesting it, if the government's got conditions like COVID and they're backed up or whatever have you not, then those are all conditions that negate, or not maybe negate, but stretch out that speedy trial. It's not a set time limit for a speedy trial per se. So yeah, it can definitely vary. Oh, don't worry, Gio, brother. They're gonna work a long time to break me, my friend.
Agreed.
I got replacement parts. I'm like the freaking Bionic Man. It's only gonna make me stronger and faster. Yeah, I'll put a damn camera in my eye.
There you go, like the Terminator. Then at that point,
yep.
You'll definitely have that thing stuck out of the back of your head then on the Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for showing up.
Yep.
Thanks for the support. Again, time's the most valuable thing we own, so thank you for imparting some of your time with us tonight.
Thank you.
Yep, we'll be on the scene. We'll be out there. Bad cop, no donut. Have a good night, buddy.
Good night, everybody. Stay tuned. We'll be back.